Wow.
Now, you needed a bit of teletransportation yourself to get here today, didn't you? That'd have been easier.
No, I drove.
We just kind of got you in just in time.
Yeah, literally just sat down quickly. Morning.
People will be very excited about this Christmas Day special. Can you tell us anything? What can you tell us?
I can tell you that we get a new doctor. There is a regeneration this Christmas.
We know that already.
I think we knew.
I know.
Yes.
Without giving too much away, in case you've not heard, we have Peter Capaldi joining as the next Doctor.
It's quite a complicated transition, isn't it?
It really is. It's such a unique show in that sense. I don't think it really happens anywhere else where, you know, this Doctor who's been, you know, on our TV screens for 50 years, we get to see him regenerate and change, and Matt has his last hurrah as the Doctor, and he's wonderful. I think it's one of his best performances that I've ever seen. It was a pleasure.
And what's it like? Because you and he, I mean, you've been very, very popular. The series is incredibly successful. You obviously have a great rapport, you know, both professional, I guess personally as well. You just get on, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
And you can tell from the way the two of you perform together. That's a bit weird, isn't it? And now you've got to try... What do you try and do? Try and recreate it with someone else just walks in his shoes? It's
a strange thing. We've been rehearsing last week, but it feels like something very different. And you know, it's such a dynamic, but that's how it feels. It's kind of taken a whole nother direction, and Peter's Doctor is very, very different. He is very different, so it kind of naturally becomes that.
How hard was it to film those last scenes with Matt Smith, though?
Oh, it was so hard. It's just, you know, it's that kind of... goodbyes are always sad and they're never ever easy. It's like kind of at a train station where you're saying goodbye to somebody and it's horrible. And it's like that day where we have these words to say, these wonderful, beautiful words that Stephen has written, and it's kind of... we're trying to avoid them for as long as possible and kind of not wanting to look at the scene because it's so beautiful and sad. But, yeah, it's hard to say goodbye.
And this might be a really silly question, but because you're the continuity in a way, aren't you? So you've been with the old Doctor.
Yeah.
He turns into the new Doctor.
Yes.
Does your character see any... Are you allowed to see anything of the old Doctor in the new one? Do you see what I mean? Or is it completely different? Or is your character allowed to kind of go, do you know, that's a bit like...
Oh, well...
Do you see what I mean?
Well, she understands what a regeneration is, but it's kind of like imagining your best mate suddenly has a completely different face and coming to terms with the fact that you look so different.
I mean, it's just absolutely different. Is there a trail that goes through?
Well, he's still the Doctor. He's still the Doctor, and he's still, you know, lived for over 1,000 years, so he's still got all the memories of her, but he is a very different man, and I think he's going to come to terms with the man that he is.
And I know the whole episode is very much shrouded in secrecy. We're not allowed to see all of it or even particularly talk about all of it, but will the people who pay close attention to Doctor Who have some of their questions answered? Because Doctor Who is all about rules and laws and things that have happened that you remember from 40 years ago.
Well, Stephen's very clever. There's lots of things that tie up very cleverly that, you know, that had been maybe mentioned years ago, and then they suddenly come back into play now. So it's kind of like this wonderful arc in a way. But it's kind of it's very much a tribute and to the 11th Doctor and everything that has made him so funny and wonderful and sad and heartwarming. It's kind of a big celebration in a way of all of that. And
professionally, things are very good for you at the moment, because not only are you in the Doctor Who special, you're also in the Death Comes to Pemberley.
I had a bit of a mad summer where I lived a double life of filming Austin in the countryside, kind of chats with house idyllic, sheep all around, and then getting on a plane going to San Diego and at Comic-Con, like science fiction convention. So it was like this really strange double life for the summer.
Tell us a bit about it, because we're always fascinated by those conventions.
Yeah.
You've probably done quite a few of them by now, have you, the Doctor Who conventions?
Not massively. We did one in London for the 50th.
Yeah. You meet some characters at those things, don't you?
Yeah.
The really big fans?
Yeah.
Are they scary ever?
Do you know what? It's more kind of... it's just people who love the show and are so happy to meet you and are so happy to be there. That it's kind of... It's a celebration, and that's kind of...
And do they know more than you about Doctor Who?
Probably.
So there's some forensic knowledge of your own character.
Yeah. But people dress up as well. They have cosplay, it's called, so people dress up, and kind of... It's amazing the effort that people go to and the detail as well.
Did people dress up as you? Did you meet you?
Yeah, I met me quite a lot.
Did you?
Because I have different incarnations of Clara, so there was lots of Claras.
Flattering or a bit weird?
Very flattering, yeah. It's great. I loved it.
Good for you.
Thank you very much for coming this morning.
Thank you.
And the Doctor Who Christmas special, Time of the Doctor, is on Christmas Day at 7:30, and Death Comes to Pemberley starts on Boxing Day. That's at 8:15, both of them on BBC One.